Welcome back, everyone. Today, Alex and I are going to have a fascinating discussion about the 1% rule and his unique perspective on building a business. Let's dive right in. Alex, can you start by giving us a bit more insight into what the 1% rule means to you and how it influences your approach to business?
Yeah, so Tyler, the 1% rule, the way I define it is that for any role in my organization or a client organization, I should be able to create or go out, create an avatar for what we're looking for in the role, a candidate avatar, and then identify 100 of those out in the marketplace, and then execute an outreach plan, qualify candidates, sell them on the opportunity. So we have our process of selection, right? That's where we're selling the opportunity as well as interviewing the candidates. And then be able to have at least one offer accepted and a candidate start for that role out of that 100.
That's a fascinating approach, Alex. So, just to clarify, you're saying that for any given role, you should be able to identify 100 potential candidates, engage with them, and ultimately get at least one to accept an offer and start the role. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that why is this interesting? Somebody might go, duh, Alex. But really, I think that it challenges leaders to think about the different roles in their organization and ask the question like, hey, in our market, are there 100 people that can fit the avatar for every one of the roles in our organization? And if there isn't, then that's going to present some big challenges that I think that should be really a big part of organizational planning.
Absolutely, Alex. It sounds like the 1% rule really pushes leaders to be more strategic and thoughtful about the talent market and the specific needs of their organization. It forces them to consider whether the talent pool is sufficient for their needs, and if not, to rethink their approach.
I think that not only, Tyler, does it ask them or call them to think about their candidate pools, but it also calls on them to assess their outreach and their candidate experience to say, okay, do we have a good enough outreach plan? Do we have a good enough candidate experience journey to be successful? And I think that if you can't put 100 candidates that all fit the same avatar kind of criteria on the board and end up with one hire consistently, then that's a good rule of thumb that you've got some structural issues or some process issues in your organization.
That makes a lot of sense, Alex. It's not just about identifying the right talent, but also evaluating how effective your outreach and candidate experience are. If you can't consistently get at least one hire out of 100 qualified candidates, then it's a clear sign that something needs to be improved internally. What are some specific steps you suggest leaders take to improve their outreach and candidate experience if they find they're falling short of the 1% rule?
I think that's a great topic for another day, but I just want to rehash this again. It's not qualified candidates. It's essentially folks in your candidate pool that meet your candidate avatar requirements. So, for example, let's say I run an accounting firm. I guess I've got a public accounting office and might need an audit associate with 3 years of experience in audit. What I would do is I would say, okay, are there 100 candidates with 3 to, let's say, 5 years of experience in audit, in public accounting, in my market? If not, then I'm going to have to do one of two things. Either I'm going to have to expand my reach for like my candidate pool. Maybe if I was in Omaha, Nebraska, I might expand to Lincoln for places I'm looking for candidates. It makes it imperative to me that my offer and my candidate experience are so good that I don't need 100. Maybe I only need 30 candidates. So maybe if I have a best-in-class offer, then I need fewer candidates in my candidate pool because more candidates are likely to engage. This is a kind of amorphous and difficult idea to get around. But I think with basically an average offer, if you have 100 candidates, you should be able to expect to get one hire. If you have less than 100 candidates, then you're going to need to have a much better offer. And if you have a lot more than 100 candidates, you might be able to have a less competitive offer.
I see. So it's really about balancing the quality of your offer and candidate experience with the size of your candidate pool. If you can't find 100 candidates who meet your avatar criteria, You either need to expand your search area or improve your offer and candidate experience to make your organization more attractive to a smaller pool of candidates. That makes a lot of sense. This approach helps ensure you're not just settling for any candidate, but really finding the right fit for your role. Thanks for sharing this, Alex. I think our listeners will find this perspective very valuable. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, let's wrap it.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you found today's discussion on the 1% rule and building a business insightful. Join us next time as we dive into more topics to help you navigate the post-COVID talent market. Until then, take care.